Hello guys and welcome back to Birth of America 2. In the last episode we had some battles go our way. We intercepted a force that came over here with this force and it went pretty well. They battered themselves to death basically against the garrison inside the city, which we have left here. This guy is still deactivated. He arrived deactivated last turn and we're going to get him moving up this way, slowly pacing him towards the enemy. Basically trying to get towards Oswego. The fighting over here finally came to a close, it looks like. The general here basically bashed away until his unit was completely destroyed by our militia in here. Our militia is lacking some cohesion and overall combat strength, so I don't want to jump him out to attack the general necessarily. This isn't a game where you can recruit units necessarily, at least not that I know of. This is a game where units are moreover handed to you, so I don't see the need to fully risk, coming out of here just to try to kill this guy. I don't even know if I could catch him. I did make one change since the end of the last episode, and that is that I found this little button here, the evade combat order, so I turned that on for ships I have running around transporting troops, because even though I don't know of any French, units running around here, it would still be a shame if a single transport ship, especially a bateau, which seems to be pretty shitty, ran into some sort of French battle fleet and all the units on here got sunk. So I'm going to keep that on from now on whenever I'm transporting units or moving ships around that aren't looking for a fight. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think we're just good to hit end turn here as things stand and see how this turn goes. Oh, it generated that file pretty quickly. Okay. So, looks like the army up here, I don't think this is the whole army that was up here. It looks smaller. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong, but it moved from Oswego, went through Oneida, and had landed here in Oriskany, where I was moving slowly my general here to try to avoid conflict. They just it seems like they're trying to rush their way to Albany. That's what it feels like. Our one militia here has gotten attacked and has lost pretty severely. Suffered 5 hits, 104 men lost, no damage to the enemies, no hits to the enemies whatsoever. Hopefully this force makes a difference when it shows up. I mean, 561 men, this is almost 3,000 men here. It may be deactivated, but it should be all we need to make the difference. And we're arriving. And, okay, we've lost 61 men. We've killed 108. Looks like we suffered 3 hits. We dealt 4. Pretty good, I'd say, for a deactivated force. And it looks like he actually ran away back to where he came from, at least one province over. His general was actually, look at these stats, way better than our Sir William Shirley. I don't know if that's just because Shirley's deactivated, so his stats suck, or if his stats just suck in general, but you see we arrived with almost 3,000 men, 64 horses. We really have 3,000 men if you include the horses. And we've dealt him a pretty nice blow here, so that's good. Oh, okay. What's happening here? So we arrived into this location and to Battleboro, and we arrived with almost 2,000 men led by Oliver, and somehow it was a defeat. We lost 82 men to their 62. We took 4 hits. They took 2. There's no surprise factor here. They have entrenchment. I wonder how they have entrenchment. But yeah, that didn't go so well for us in terms of the overall result. But we did kill some units, which is good. The next day, the fighting continues. British victory. Only 20 men lost this time. We took 1 hit to their 2. They lost another 62 men. They're still entrenched. So yeah, they were, I guess, in some kind of they weren't in a defensive mode. I guess they could have been, now that I think about it. You can siege in a defensive mode. So let's proceed into the next day. I didn't actually expect to catch these guys. I really didn't. They lost 0 men this time. They suffered 0 hits. We suffered 1 and lost 20 men. And somehow, we won? We're failing morale checks out the ass. Insufficiently commanded. I don't know how that works. His stats look really good. I think the other guy being deactivated is really what hurt his stats. Let's proceed into the next day. Combat's continuing. And And, oh shit, here we go. This is what we're looking for here. A much better dice roll. Bunch of morale failures, though. I don't even know which one of these stats really makes it, but they suffered 6 hits, we suffered none. By the combat values, you wouldn't really realize that we were as, outnumbering them as we were. With 1,800 men and 65 horses, which I feel like are part of the supply trains. The rest of these are the provincial line infantry, yeah. Their defensive fire is better than our offensive fire. Their discipline's higher than ours. But they lost both of their braves right here. Suffered all of it in ranged attacks. 207 men lost. We've won the day here by the looks of it. I'm a little concerned, actually. So that's the end of the turn. Oh, no. Damn, it took so long, I guess, to get over here that the fort, the artillery in the fort, I think there was artillery, the line infantry or militias that were defending it actually surrendered. They actually surrendered to the besiegement. I didn't get there in time. So we lost a national morale point. The enemy gained 8 victory points. Even if I did show up and win the day eventually, I don't know, man. That's kind of bittersweet. Look at this. Yeah, the fort. There may be a fort, but... Oh, yeah, he has 2 maximum command, but he has 3 units. That's why. Oh, man, that kind of stings right there. Sure, I got rid of his force, but I think he got more of my forces to surrender to him than I even killed of his units. And while those forces were fixed, and I wouldn't necessarily be able to access more than that 1 militia, I think, that I saw last turn anyway, to lose those units, like, they're gone. They're not coming back. They're gone. That stings. That stings a lot. And I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, at least we showed up and we took the location, right? We stopped them from actually taking the city. We stopped them from gaining control over the region, and we did kill what units were back here for no permanent loss in Oliver's little command force here. But damn, what has to happen for a force to just surrender? I didn't even know forces could surrender. Is it just a morale check? We weren't even outnumbered. We should have been able to, hurt them. I don't know what it is. I don't know how or why that happened, but we take a look here. This guy's pushing upwards. I'm not going to leave him in this region to capture the whole thing. It's not worth it. I'm going to let him just keep moving up north, and we want to capture this because this one will actually give us supply. His power has gone down a little bit. Looks like the irregulars have been hurt by the attrition less than the than the regulars. Yeah, look at that. 0.95 a day versus 0.47 a day, that's growth. But movement lowers cohesion. Oh, man, I really feel that loss right there. And you know what? There was nothing I could have done to prevent it either. They were stealthed, they came out of nowhere, and then they just made this entire force surrender. That makes me a little nervous about leaving a militia here, because, I mean, what good is leaving a militia if they're just going to surrender? That was so many units that gave up. Let's see. So we do have our naval units out here, and we do have some vision into this location. There's some unit here. I can't see exactly what. It looks like only 1 militia, if that's to be trusted. If that's what that 1 even means. I don't know what that 1 means. I believe that just means there's 1 force there by the looks of it. Maybe not 1 unit. Oliver here has a new seniority of 32. His seniority is actually pretty high. So that's good. I'm just going to toss him in this fort for today and let him kind of rest and recuperate, just in case there's anything else running around this area that I'm just not familiar with. So once again, only one of the things I picked in the options went through, and it was the raise more militia, which has appeared again, so I guess it's like a repeatable one. So once again, we failed to actually raise any native raiders. So I'm going to select this again, and this time I'm going to select it all by itself, because we have plenty of militia. We're kind of low on raiders, so I want to get some more raiders. And then we might want to start after that either getting some more supply units so we can set up some supply depots, or otherwise just get more supplies for our armies that are running around. Or we may want to start unfixing some warrior bands, because I know over here we have this guy, for example. He's a native leader. We have some leaders that actually, like this guy, he can lead native units with no penalty. So theoretically, he could have a unit that's just made up of like 6 different irregular Indian units fighting alongside whatever his max cap is for the regular units, and he would be able to lead like a massive army because of it. But also this guy right here has a command of 2, and he is God, I can't click while this is open. He has a command of 2, and he is an actual native leader. He can increase cohesion, and his ambush is much better, so he's really good to work with irregulars. So if they're not going to start attacking these guys, I'd want to maybe unfix them so that I can toss them in like his army. I could throw, theoretically, 2 of them in here if these are only worth 1. It looks like they're worth 0 at the moment, but I don't know if that's true. And then we can get his army kind of running around and doing some shit and fucking with them. But if I can only do like 1 of these every turn, then that's going to be a little limiting. But it feels like I'm getting engagement points faster than I can actually utilize them at this rate. I mean, maybe if I was doing the supply unit one or unfixing warrior bands, then I would be spending them faster than I'm getting them. But for the time being, it's definitely the case that I'm getting them faster than I can spend them. Fort Edward is now completed. Fort Edward's now completed. 2 months of hard work resulted in construction of Fort Edward. Oh. Fort Edward Garrison. So this garrison wasn't always here, was it? And I don't remember these natives being here. I might be crazy, but I don't remember these natives being here. They are not fixed forever, but for 18 turns they are. Now there's a tribe here. Maybe these guys were always here. I'm not sure. Overall, though, I don't remember a fort being here, especially because this is controlled by the natives. Natives don't build forts, which makes me think all of this just basically popped out of nowhere, and this wasn't here before. We can raise new replacements for our militia. Yeah, that's it telling us that we can repeat that. Okay. This boy, John Winslow over here, is once again deactivated. We're not going to need him over here after all. Our bigger boy, Oliver over here, took care of the job we needed him for. I don't see any other signs of natives necessarily running through my land. I think whatever caused this was dealt with earlier. I'm not sure. But I'm going to toss Winslow here back onto this ship, and I think I'm going to bring him up north. I'm going to toss him. I think I could just sail him over here and then distant unload. I don't think you need a port. I'm going to unload him here so that I can essentially have him cover the flank of this army, which is going to advance. In fact, I might even swap out this militia from this army with one of Winslow's line infantry, because it would bolster this force even more. That could work. Or I could actually leave the militia here and then move these 2 commanders up together. That could work as well. He could be useful there because he might be needed up here, and up here there are pretty much no reinforcements for me to get. Now, I am presented with a choice here. So, he up here is ready to attack this town, Penobsquis. I can't even begin to pronounce these names. The problem is, it's September. And if I go to move him, it's going to take him 60 days just to get there. That's if he doesn't deactivate next turn. It's going to take him 60 days. That's October, and that's November right there. Meaning we would have to basically assault this place the moment we arrived. I don't know how I feel about doing that, because I'm not even confident about what's in here. Simultaneously, Braddock down here has actually deactivated, the fucker. So it's going to take 76 days to get up here. Meaning if I do want to take this place effectively before winter comes around, I'm going to have to do something special here. Like, maybe if I, pull out the artillery. Now it's 54 days. That's still 2 turns just to get there. He'd be able to assault the moment he got there, but we'd be assaulting a fort in the late part of November. And it could get really cold in that time. And I don't know. I just don't see it as worth it to be this offensive. I haven't experienced moving through a winter in this game yet. I don't know when the winter really starts to kick in, but I don't want to risk my units being out there in the middle of an assault or a siege, an assault is really worse than getting their asses beat, being forced to run away and suffer loads of attrition, when I could just play on the defensive for a little bit here. You know, just be defensive, be cautious, wait until after the winter passes, and then go on the offensive, pushing this guy forward to capture St. Jean over here, and then moving Braddock forward finally to take this place that he failed to take in real life. Now, theoretically, this could give them a chance to reinforce their position, but I don't see that as that much of a problem. As far as I understand it, France has all the units that they're going to have already at the start of the game. Their job is to harass me and try to get behind my lines and pillage, and this gives them time to do it, but it really doesn't bother me, because, okay, so what if they're behind my lines? In the middle of winter, that just means that they're going to suffer attrition running around behind enemy lines. I mean, they might start raiding to get supplies, but it doesn't mean they're not going to suffer attrition. And they can't, I don't think that they can kind of like make that up in the same amount of time that they could lose it. You see, we're at 97%. I got another sighting of another person here, but so long as these troops are here, we're good. We don't have to worry about this. I just don't see that their harassment tactics could work getting this close to winter. Because if they're not pulling everything back as of the end of this turn, it's going to be stuck in my territory. And unless they manage to capture a city to hunker down in, that means it's going to suffer massive attrition, and it's going to be super weak when winter passes. And I know this may be thinking a little too ahead because I'm only in September, but just think about it. That's only 3 turns until winter for sure kicks in. But the cold temperatures, especially further north, are going to kick in before December. I'm pretty confident. November, Canada in November. I may not live in Canada. I'm from New York City in real life. I know what it gets like in November. You start getting a little nippy. So I'm going to assume it's going to happen similarly here. This expedition force here is still deactivated, unfortunately. So pushing on to try to capture Oswego, yeah, it's not going to work. And the reason it's not going to work is because when he's deactivated, I cannot tell him to go offensive or assault. I could just tell him to defend or go passive. So I just kind of have to sit and wait for him to be ready. That being said, when it is time to move him, he's going to get there real quick, 1 turn. So even if it's like next turn that he's deactivated or that he is activated, I can pretty easily get him over here, because it should be quicker than 25 days even, and take out whatever troops are in my way, which looks like it could be a decent amount. So I may want to be cautious there too. I know the British player is supposed to be aggressive, as the scenario explained it to me, but I don't see that being overzealous here would be in our favor. Alright, but I think that's everything we're going to do this turn, so I'm going to hit next turn and hope that I haven't fucked myself into oblivion with some bad tactics or over-cautiousness or what have you. Alright, days are processing. Let's see. Pretty quiet. Got our ships moving. No battles. Oh, here we go. Here's a battle. British victory. What happened here? A French unit. Very fancy. What is this? These were actual French line infantry. Holy crap. And they are very well trained. Wow, why are the French troops so well trained compared to any British troops? I don't know. Maybe it's like a balancing act for the game. They suffered 3 hits of damage trying to assault this Indian village, not even a fort, an Indian village, which was defended by 4 elements of Braves Raiders. 712 men total versus 669 men. We've lost 0 men. They've lost 75. Half of our men were inside a city. I can guess the situation here, like the tribes in the village, and then this unit was just outside. I see. So let's close this window. Oh, he's still in here. But that has now just unfixed that Indian unit. Snow, mountain snow. Yes, I was right. It's only October, and already the snow is starting to kick in. Can you imagine if I had actually moved? All right, you gotta get inside the village, please. If I had actually moved this unit, and he's deactivated. Oh my God. I may be wrong, right? I may just be crazy, but let's send you over here. I feel like I just saved my own ass right now. Let's send you in here for the winter, because this is going to start freezing. If I had moved this guy, he would be stuck in this area, deactivated, moving very slowly in harsh weather, snow, which would mean massive attrition. Wow. Okay, I was just waiting for that to blow up in my face, but it actually looks like I made the right decision. Now, we still don't know if keeping Braddock here for the winter is the right decision. It's still not exactly snowy over here, but I'm sure it'll catch up quick. Whatever force was outside here has either entered the fort or has moved on somewhere else, which could mean that it's on our, oh shit, our territory. What is this? We must, oh shit, expedition force. Royal artillery and supply. What the hell? Holy crap. That sounds so useful. I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with that. Alright, so provincials have been trained with success. Oh? We're training units. Whose units? Who are we training? I guess, do these units, so they have like experience? Oh, they do have experience. And I guess you're just always training your units, like at all times. He doesn't have any experience. Only this one has experience. So I guess by idling around or something, you can get experience as well as fighting. Fleet was delayed. It's fine. Expeditionary force has arrived at Crown Point. Okay, this is this one. So we actually captured this while entering, or while going through it. And we definitely have been raiding it. We only have 35% ownership there, which is not exactly very bueno. We have supply level of 2 here, so the harbor here is generating supply. I'm going to put him on the defensive here. We don't have a friendly structure, do we? Can we enter a harbor? I don't think we can enter a harbor. Probably not. He's fortified. I'll just put that there just in case he can enter the harbor. I don't know. No, this is only for a move order, yeah. There's nothing to enter here. So he's just going to hold his own here. We have taken the place. We are still gaining full control of it. Only 46% control. It should be good by next turn. The supply level should allow him to recuperate his supplies. He does have enough food and water. He does have enough ammo. 40 a turn. Our supply is good. And the supply from the harbor should definitely help. We're getting forts and stuff being put together here. Are there any other things like this? There are. Wait a minute. Hang on. So, Fort Prince George is now completed in Kiowa. Fort Prince George has been completed. The garrison has arrived. The Cherokee are pleased. Oh? The Cherokee. Well, apparently the Indians are happy that we now have a garrison here, which was just given to us for free. And a free fort all the way down here. That's pretty awesome. This place is pretty vulnerable at the moment, so that's always nice. The Corps of Armed Battlemen has been organized. What the hell is this? What the hell? Okay, so we got John Bradstreet over here, 4 seniority. What can he command? He has 2 command, and he has an army of irregular corps here. What the hell are these? They're like marine units? Supply Ranger, 50% reduction in supply consumption to the whole stack in wild areas. Ranger, 25% move bonus to the whole stack in wild areas. And Pontoneer, 50% speed bonus to the whole stack when crossing rivers. Holy crap, light infantry. This is amazing. Holy crap, dude. It's like Indians, but stronger? Or basically the same thing as Indians, but like with better buffs. This is my perfect, like, harassing unit. I can send this through the wilds and through enemy territory, worry less about supply. Fort William Henry is now completed in St. Sacrament. Okay, I wonder if this was scripted, like me taking this or something, scripted it. William Henry, Fort William Henry. There's now a fort here. Okay, there wasn't before. And now George Monroe is here with a garrison unit, a commander with a garrison unit. He's fixed. But can be unfixed by moving in the region a friendly unit of power equal to 1. So I can intentionally unfix this unit by moving friendly troops here if they have a power of 1. And this guy is stuck here until 26 turns from now. So if I ever need a leader, I know where to get him. What's his little abilities? Provides 1 point siege bonus to a whole stack while defending a fort. He seems like he's better left here anyway. Well, that's really awesome. I just got a free fort here, so he will actually take control of the rest of this for me. Man, I do wonder if he's the reason why I took this, or if it's only here because I took this. I don't know. The game doesn't really explain this, of course. And here we go. So the French equipped 2 militia replacements for 2 lost companies of British regulars arrive from England. Oh, what? Arrive in New York, British regulars. So it's these? It's these line infantry, I think. Otherwise, in New York, I don't think I have any new infantry. No, I don't. So these are all replacements. So I guess this is just the game literally handing me, essentially, replacements for the British regulars. And thank fucking God they did. I don't know that I've seen that we've gotten these native raiders. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything here about the native raiders. So for whatever reason, no matter how many times I click this, we're just not getting replacements. I didn't even have anything else selected. So maybe you can do multiple things every turn, but this is just not working. I don't know if it's a bug. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but we might as well spend some more stuff here. So let's start unfixing some warrior bands, and a supply unit could always be handy. We have plenty of engagement points right now. Our national morale's back up to 90%, coefficient 95%. I don't know what that's about. So I'm going to take one of these ships here that are up in Albany, and I'm going to send one down here. It's the New York. It's going to go here, it's going to get into port, and then I want to put this expeditionary force on it when it arrives. And I don't know if I can move it from there. I mean, I don't think so. I don't know if I can stack orders that far. If anyone knows if I can do it and how to do it, you can feel free to tell me in the comments. I'm not going to fuck with it, I don't think. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to literally just leave these guys inside the fort just in case. But I am going to send... How much weight are you, actually? 20. All right, so 1 bateau should be enough. So I'm going to send this 1 bateau down here. Let me select it again and make sure it's on evade combat. Yep. So that I can transport this stuff up north, because we do have some forces up here that could use an artillery and a supply unit, or at least, you know, the artillery. I'm sure like a lot of units could use the supply at the very least. And I found some awful situation up here. Sir William Shirley is still deactivated, and to make things worse, a massive, looks like massive, I don't know if I'm reading this right, French force of Native Americans has arrived outside our gates, which means one or two things will probably happen. I don't see that this is being besieged at the moment. However, it's very likely that they could... Oh no, it is besieged. There we go. It's very likely they could decide to attack this fort this turn. And if they do, a deactivated expeditionary force along with just a single, like, a militia garrison is not exactly what you want defending this place. Of course, it's better than nothing. Worst comes to worst, in fact, they actually completely bypass this fort and start heading down here, because they are made up of irregulars, so I do think that they do have the ability to do that. And then they start attacking something that's even less defended. But if they do, then maybe it gives us time to actually get our forces down here and like attack them from the rear. I don't know what's the better situation, but looks like our expeditionary force is going to stay hunkered down into the winter and hope for the best. Our good friend Oliver has had some time to rest, so I am going to move him in a defensive stance over here to get into the fort in the German flats, hopefully beating them there in case they do come this way, or otherwise just garrisoning it and kind of blocking the way, because there's no reason for him to go up here or necessarily down here. This is his path. If worst comes to worst, we actually run smack dab into the army. We're not on an offensive posture. It may not go that badly. We'll see. The Carolina Volunteers have been raised here. It's a new militia unit, so I'm going to toss them in this bateau that was just thankfully here, and I'm actually going to sail them, I think, like literally all the way up here. All the way up here. They're going to get there in the same turn, so we should be fine when it comes to weather. And then distant unload. I want to distant unload into here, because I want to get them linked up with these units so that I can kind of use them as a garrison unit, or just, you know, leave the Nova Scotians behind and bring the Carolina force with me. I've also changed which bateau is coming here to pick up the supply unit and the artillery to the New Jersey, which is sitting in New York City, in Manhattan, because I noticed this guy has 40 weight, and I'm actually going to toss him into the Albany fleet of 2 bateaus, turn on evade here, which I still have to do for the Carolina force down here, but I'm actually going to sail him down south. Because he's so good at fighting in the wilds, and because so much stuff over here is in the wilds, I do think it would be interesting, a little excursion to try to play the native game against the natives, right? They don't have much of a force down here, so I'm thinking of bringing him down south and going for these little isolated cities and forts where they have some defensive units but not a lot, and then trying to kind of, well, take him down and get whatever little engagement points or bonuses we can for doing so, because as of right now, what we're looking at here is a bunch of big battles where skirmishing isn't going to make the biggest amount of difference unless my intention is to go raiding, which I plan on doing anyway with the Native Americans once I start unfixing some units. So for right now, let's take the Albany fleet and let's send them, what would be better to go for? I kind of want to go deeper south rather than up here, but this is kind of bothering me over here. So I'm going to send them down here to Roanoke and Warrington. Basically, I'm going to unload them here, which should be in supply. It is. And then I'm going to have them go for this first as a way of testing my little strategy here. Maybe make a supply stop in Lynchburg. As for this Indian unit that unlocked last turn, I'm just going to toss this into the village to help protect it from any remaining French forces up here. The winter's about to kick in, so they'll be absolutely batshit crazy to stay over here and try fighting over it. But I believe that's going to be it for this turn and this episode. So we'll hit next turn, next time we start up an episode, and maybe make a change if I find anything else that I've left out. But for now, thank you guys very much for watching. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying this series, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.